What if I told you the history of the United States didn't start in 1776? Let's rewind way back. Thousands of years before any European ships even dreamed of crossing the Atlantic, North America was a bustling continent, home to countless Native American tribes. These weren't just scattered groups, they were sophisticated societies with their own languages, governments, and vibrant cultures. They were farmers, hunters, skilled traders, and had a deep, spiritual connection to the land. Then, in 1492, everything changed. Christopher Columbus arrived, and the floodgates opened. Soon, ships from Spain, France, and England were racing across the ocean, driven by a hunger for land, gold, and new trade routes. This age of exploration quickly turned into an age of colonization. Fast forward to 1607. England establishes Jamestown in what is now Virginia, its first permanent foothold in North America. It was a tough beginning, but it marked a new era. A few years later, in 1620, the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth, not searching for wealth, but for religious freedom. From these small seeds, 13 English colonies sprouted along the East Coast. Each colony developed its own personality. In the Chile North, New England colonies like Massachusetts built their fortunes on fishing, shipbuilding, and trade. The middle colonies, with their fertile land, became the breadbasket, focusing on farming and commerce. And in the South, a plantation economy took root, one that tragically relied on the forced labor of enslaved people from Africa. As the colonies grew, so did their sense of independence. Colonists started governing themselves through local assemblies, getting a taste for self. But there was a catch. Britain was still the boss across the ocean. After a costly war with France, known as the French and Indian War, Britain was deep in debt. To pay it off, they decided to tax the American colonies. This did not go over well. Laws like the Stamp Act and the Tea Act sparked outrage. The colonists' cry was no taxation without representation. They had no voice in the British Parliament that was imposing these taxes. Protests erupted, the most famous being the Boston Tea Party, where colonists dumped a shipment of British tea into the harbor. The message was clear. Tensions boiled over, and on July 4th, 1776, the colonies took a monumental step. They declared their independence from Britain. Thomas Jefferson penned the Declaration of Independence, a document that would echo through history. It proclaimed that all people are born with certain unalienable rights: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Of course, declaring independence and winning it are two different things. The American Revolution began. Under the leadership of General George Washington, the scrappy colonial army faced the might of the British Empire. Against all odds, in 1783, they won. The United States of America was born. Now came the hard part: building a nation. The first attempt at a government, the Articles of Confederation, was a bit of a flop. It created a weak central government that couldn't get much done. So, in 1787, the nation's leaders gathered to try again. They drafted the U.S. Constitution, a brilliant framework for a new kind of government, with three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial, to ensure a balance of power. And to protect individual freedoms, they added the Bill of Rights, guaranteeing rights like freedom of speech, religion, and the right to a fair trial. With a new government in place, the young nation began to look west. In the early 1800s, the Louisiana Purchase doubled the country's size overnight. An idea called Manifest Destiny took hold, the belief that the United States was destined to expand all the way to the Pacific Ocean. But this expansion came at a terrible cost. Native American tribes were forcibly removed from their ancestral lands. The brutal forced march of the Cherokee people, known as the Trail of Tears, is a heartbreaking example of this dark chapter. As the country grew, a deep and bitter divide was also growing. The issue of slavery. The industrial North largely opposed it, while the agricultural South's economy was completely dependent on it. This conflict wasn't just a debate. It was a wound that festered until it tore the nation apart. In 1861, the Civil War erupted. The Union, led by President Abraham Lincoln, fought against the Confederacy, the Southern states that it was the deadliest war in American history, pitting brother against brother. During the war, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, a crucial step that helped to finally end the institution of slavery. In 1865, The Union won the war, and the nation was preserved, but deeply scarred. The period that followed, called Reconstruction, was about rebuilding the South and trying to integrate 4 million newly freed African Americans into society. The 13th Amendment officially abolished slavery, the 14th granted citizenship, and the 15th gave voting rights to black men. These were monumental legal victories, but the reality on the ground was different. Deep-seated racism and discrimination persisted for generations. As the 19th century came to a close, America transformed into an industrial powerhouse. Factories, railroads, and massive cities sprung up. Millions of immigrants from Europe and Asia poured in, chasing the American dream of jobs and a better life. This Gilded Age brought immense wealth and innovation, but it also had a dark side. Dangerous working conditions, low pay, and child labor. In response, labor unions formed, fighting for the rights and dignity of the working class. The 20th century threw even bigger challenges at the United States. The country was drawn into World War I in 1917. Then, the Roaring Twenties came to a screeching halt with the stock market crash of 1929, plunging the nation into the Great Depression. Widespread poverty and unemployment gripped the country. President Franklin D. Roosevelt's New Deal programs offered a lifeline, fundamentally changing the role of government in people's lives. Just as the country was recovering, the world was plunged into war again. The United States entered World War II after the devastating attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. The war effort mobilized the entire nation, and after the Allied victory, America emerged as a global superpower. But peace brought a new kind of conflict, the Cold War. For decades, the United States and the Soviet Union faced off in a tense struggle between democracy and communism. While they never fought directly, it was a period of nuclear anxiety and proxy wars around the globe. At home, another battle was being waged. The civil rights movement rose up to challenge segregation and racial injustice. Through nonviolent protest and powerful oratory, leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. fought to make America live up to its promise of equality for all. Their struggle led to landmark legislation like the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. In more recent history, the United States has continued to evolve, facing new challenges like the threat of terrorism, a rapidly changing global economy, and the digital revolution.